How are you? Thursday, March 30th, 2023. Baseball's greatest offensive seasons of all time. Which ball players had an offensive season that stands out? And where do you rank them as far as the greatest, the best? For me, the way to determine an outstanding offensive season is to take 12 categories, find out the stat in each category, and add up all the stats as one total number. Batting average, runs scored, runs batted in, home runs, triples, doubles, singles, slugging, on base percentage, base on balls, total bases, stolen bases. I did it. I did some research, found out that Babe Ruth's 1921 season was the greatest offensive season of all time. He had a total score in 12 categories of 2904. I could not find anybody else that beat that number. So I've been going through and ranking the top 477 offensive seasons because I cut off the number at 2000. Add up the stats. If it comes to the number 2000, I cut it off. There are 477 of them. So let's, excuse me, let's go. This video will go from, I'm at 448. Goose Goslin, number 448. Best offensive seasons ranked. 1927 season, 2023. 449, Honus Wagner, 1903 season, 2022. 450, Roy Campanella, 1951 season, 2021. 451, Mickey Mantle, 1954 season, 2019. 452, Eddie Murray, 1990 season, 2019. 453, Paul Molitor, 1996 season, 2019. 454, Jim Rice, 1983 season, 2019. 455, Eddie Collins, 1924 season, 2017. 456, Frankie Frisch, 1923 season, 2017. 457, Joe Morgan, 1973 season, 2016. 458, Tony Gwynn, 1994 season, 2015. 459, Ryan Sandberg, 1984 season, 2014. 460, Henry Aaron, 1960 season, 2013. 461, Frank Robinson, 1965 season, 2013. 462, Honus Wagner, 1899 season, 2012. 463, Vlad Guerrero, 2005 season, 2012. 464, Kirby Puckett, 1987 season, 2012. 465, Willie Keeler, 1899 season, 2011. 466, Mickey Mantle, 1960 season, 2009. 467, Frank Baker, 1911 season, 2009. 468, Henry Aaron, 1966 season, 2008. 469, Willie Mays, 1956 season, 2008. 470, Robin Yount, 1989 season, 2008. 471, Hack Wilson, 1926 season, 2006. 472, Eddie Murray, 1985 season, 2005. 473, Eddie Collins, 1913 season, 2003. 474, Honus Wagner, 1904 season, 2002. 475, Honus Wagner, 1907 season, 2002. 476, Orlando Cepeda, 1967 season, 2001. And number 477, Edgar Martinez, 1992 season, 2000 on the nose. Ball players after this are in the 1900s, so I cut it off at 2000. 477 best offensive seasons. I just went through 1 through 477. And I'm covering in this section Hall of Fame players. And I added it up. There were 121 different Hall of Fame players among the 477 best offensive seasons of all time. Now you may ask, there are 477, yet only 121 represented. That means that certain players had multiple entries among the 477. And I looked that up. Babe Ruth, 14 times, had a score of 2,000 or more, of adding the 12 categories as one total number. 14 times for Babe Ruth. Lou Gehrig, 12 times. Stan Musial, 12 times. Henry Aaron, 12 times. Willie Mays, 12 times. Jimmy Fox, 10 times. Ted Williams, 10 times. Rogers Hornsby, 9 times. Ty Cobb, 9 times. Vlad Guerrero, 9 times. Ed Delonte, 8 times. Joe DiMaggio, 8. Al Simmons, 8. Chipper Jones had 8. Goose Goslin, 8. Frank Thomas, 8. Jeff Bagwell, 7. Tris Speaker, 7. Edgar Martinez, 7. Charlie Gehringer, 7. Frank Robinson, 7. Mel Ott, 7. Mickey Mantle, 7. Harry Heilman, 7. Paul Wainer, 7. Hank Greenberg, 7. Jesse Burkett, 7. Honus Wagner, 6. Ken Griffey, 6. Earl Alvarado, 6. Jim Thome had 6. Larry Walker, 6. Eddie Matthews, 6. Hack Wilson, 5. Willie Keeler, 5. Duke Snider, Dan Brothers, Chuck Klein, David Ortiz, Eddie Collins, Johnny Mize, Hugh Duffy, Napla, and let's see. Oh, Johnny Mize. All those guys had 5. Then Hugh Duffy had 4. All these guys had 4. Hugh Duffy, Nap Lajoie, Sam Thompson, Bill Terry, Eddie Murray, Joe Kelly, Mike Piazza, Ernie Banks, Jim Rice, Wade Boggs, Billy Williams, Roberto Alomar, Ralph Kiner. They all had 4. Clemente, these guys had 3. Clemente, Hamilton, Molitor, Medwick, Puckett, Botany, Baker, Haffey, Brett, Sisler, Gwynn, Killebrew. They all had 3. And then the rest of the guys, 2 times, and then 1 time. What do you think? Are these the greatest players of all time? You got to consider that the top, I would say, the top 20 are the greatest ball players of all time because of the offensive season they produced. Would you agree or disagree? Babe Ruth 14 times. All right, let's do the top 20 again. These are the top 20 offensives, or the top 20 ball players in the Hall of Fame with the most offensive seasons with a score of 2,000 or more. Babe Ruth 14 times. Gehrig 12. Ruth and Gehrig, top 2. Then you have Stan Musial had 12. Musial, Aaron, and Mays, 12. It's the top five. Then you get a Jimmy Fox, Williams, and Hornsby. All had 10. Cobb had 9. And Vlad Guerrero, 9. Would you consider Vlad Guerrero in the top 20 ball players of all time? I don't know. You got Ed Delante there. DiMaggio, yes. Simmons, Al Simmons. How about Chipper Jones, Goslin, Thomas, Bagwell, Martinez, and Gehringer? They're in the top 20 of the best offensive seasons of all time. Debatable. To me, I would put Ruth, Gehrig, Cobb, Aaron Mays, Williams, Hornsby, Musial, Delante, Gwynn, DiMaggio. You can go on, but these are the guys that really stand out. All right, the top 477 best offensive seasons of all time were ranked. And I just proved it with the numbers. But these were Hall of Fame players. How about those who are not in the Hall of Fame? Where do they rank as far as greatest offensive seasons of all time? Well, I have a chapter on them. And I ranked those ball players. I called the chapter, What About These Players? This is interesting. They're not in the Hall of Fame, but they produced excellent offensive seasons. You know who ranked number one? Barry Bonds. 2001 season had a score of 27-29. Now, if you compare him with the Hall of Fame players, he would rank number 4. Ruth had 2904, 2774, and 2772 in three of his best seasons. But number 4 would be Barry Bonds at 2729. Then you get Gehrig after that. So I'll just tell you briefly, what did Barry Bonds do in the 2001 season? He had a batting average of 328, runs scored 129, runs batted in 137, home runs 73, 2 triples, 32 doubles, 49 singles. But here's the key here. 863 slugging, 515 on base, 177 walks, 411 total bases, and then he had 13 stolen bases. That was a score of 27-29. That ranks number 4 all time. I told you Ruth was number 1. He had 2904 in the 1921 season. Then the 1923 season, he had 2774. That's number 2. 1920 season, he had a 2772. So 2904, 2774, and 2772. And then number 4 is Barry Bonds, 2729. Who's number 2 among players not in the Hall of Fame? Tip O'Neill, 2568. You ever hear of Tip O'Neill? He's not in the Hall of Fame. 1887 season, he had a score of 2568. I'll go through the rest of these. I don't need to list the numbers, but I can tell you where they rank. Listen to this. Todd Helton, number 3. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame, Todd Helton. Then you have Babe Herman, Sammy Sosa, number 5. Mark McGwire, 6. Norm Cash, Carlos Delgado, Albert Pujols, Manny Ramirez, top 10. They all had excellent offensive seasons. And you have Jason Giambi, Ellis Rodriguez, Ellis Burks, Pete Browning, Joe Jackson. 1911 season had an excellent year. Then you have Derek Lee, Albert Bell, Ken Williams, Ryan Howard, Hal Trotsky, Miguel Cabrera, John Olerud, Al Rosen, Gary Sheffield, Matt Holliday, Lefty O'Doul, Mo Vaughn, Joe Foster, Rafael Palmeiro, Ted Klowiski. These are guys with great offensive seasons, but they're not in the Hall of Fame. Benny Koff, Don Mattingly, Darren Erstad, Joe Torre, Bill Lang, Bill Dallin, Adrian Beltre, Matt Kemp, Juan Gonzalez, Ken Caminiti, Cy Seymour, Dave Parker, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Bernie Williams, Rudy York, Denny Lyons, Ryan Braun, Jim Gentile, Tommy Davis, Josh Hamilton, Jose Canseco, Rocky Calavero. Just listing them. I'm not going to give you all the numbers. Sean Green, Bob Johnson, Andres Galarraga, Adrian Gonzalez, Roger Maris, Vinny Castilla, Mark Texeria, Jose Batista, Lob Cross, Carlos Gonzalez, Joe Mauer, Chris Davis, Dick Allen, Troy Glass, Dale Murphy, Don Hart, Dolph Camilla, Kevin Mitchell, Mike Timon, Luis Gonzalez, Lance Berkman, Bug Holliday, Frank Howard, George Bell, Keith Hernandez, Lou Fonsaca, Cecil Cooper, Dwight Evans, Carl Reynolds, Will Clark, Vern Stevens, Harry Stovey, Jermaine Dye, Darrell Evans, Bobby Veach, Cecil Travis, Chase Etley, Tommy Hendricks, Charlie Keller, Cecil Fielder, Andrew Jones, Ichiro Suzuki, Miguel Tejada, Gavi Kravas, Alfonso Soriano, Mickey Vernon, Bobby Bonds, Bob Musil, Ken Boyer, Earl Webb, Cy Williams, Bill Nicholson, Maglio Ordonez, Buck Freeman, Al Oliver, Del Ennis, Nelson Cruz, Curtis Granderson, George Burns, Ruben Sierra, and Paul Canorco. 112 who are not in the Hall of Fame, but they had excellent offensive seasons, and their score is above 2,000. Barry Bonds, number 1, and then number 112, Paul Canerco's 2004 score, or 2004 score. So I just felt I had to mention those guys who are not in the Hall of Fame. They had excellent offensive seasons. All those guys I just mentioned. It's all in this book, Baseball's Greatest Offensive Seasons of All Time. And then and then after this, you know what I did? I looked at pitchers. I wanted to find out who had the best offensive season pitching. And I have a list in here. And we'll get into that in our next video, okay? But for now, thanks for watching. I'm out.